The Tarrant County Master Gardener Association has partnered with the Tarrant Regional Water District to encourage water conservation. TRWD maintains 4 area lakes and pipelines needed to provide surface water to local water treatment plants so they can clean that water to meet drinking standards for our communities. They also work with many cities in Tarrant County, such as Fort Worth, Arlington, Mansfield, and many others, to provide water conservation programs to the community. Conservation is an important water supply strategy to help meet the needs of our growing population. There are currently 2.3 million people living in Tarrant County, and this is expected to double over the next 50 years. At SaveTarrantWater.com, you can sign up for free weekly watering advice custom to your location. If you're a resident of Tarrant County, you can sign up for a free sprinkler's checkup where a licensed irrigator comes to your home, provides a comprehensive evaluation of your system with recommendations to reduce water waste. There's also an event calendar where you can find information about future classes and workshops. So be sure and check out SaveTarrantWater.com to sign up for their free services.
Everyone, my name is Yolanda Tatum, and I'm going to be doing hobby backyard greenhouses. So, you think you want a greenhouse. A greenhouse will enable you to grow in a controlled environment. It will allow you to do propagation over winter tropical and extend your growing season. Greenhouse management, we're going to cover the definition, how you get started, planning your greenhouse, greenhouse styles, greenhouse frames, operating systems and accessories, and greenhouse watering systems. Definition is a structure designed for the protection of tender or out-of-season plants with regulated temperature, humidity, and ventilation against excessive cold or heat. A greenhouse can range from a small room carrying a few plants over the winter to a large heated glass building called a hothouse or conservatory, covering acres of ground and used for forcing fruits, flowers, and vegetables out of season. Usually a glass or plastic enclosure structure with the framing of aluminum, galvanized steel, or woods such as redwood, cedar, or cypress. It is heated partially by the sun and partially by artificial means, a controlled environment that can be adapted to the needs of particular plants. Getting started. The lure of a greenhouse is powerful. When you walk inside, you work in the soil and tend to your plants, oblivious to the weather outside, a place where seasons and climates don't matter. You can grow species you've never grown before and try new gardening techniques in a controlled environment. You can research and build your own, use step-by-step plans, buy a kit. You still have to put it together or have a contractor build one for you. You must first select an appropriate site where there is plenty of sunlight, then determine what type of greenhouse you want, the size, style, and the coverings. Planning your greenhouse. First, assess your needs. How big a greenhouse do you need? The size of your property may dictate the size of the structure. Rule of thumb, if you buy a greenhouse based solely on your current gardening expectations, it may be too small within a year. Is your purpose for the greenhouse to overwinter houseplants or grow veggies and flowers? A warm greenhouse that permits maximum light isn't necessary for foliage houseplants. If you use the greenhouse for both, take the sunny location and use shading. Planning your greenhouse. How elaborate a structure do you need? You can build a simple structure using PVC and plastic. They are easy to assemble and portable. Move to different parts of the garden as the need arises. If you want a more elaborate structure, you can use polycarbonate or fiberglass coverings with cedar or redwood or the framing and walls, or glass enclosed structure with a cement foundation, heating, and electrical systems. These can be very expensive and not a do-it-yourselfer project. You need to think, is a building permit necessary? Are there local design ordinances? Must the structure be set back from the property line? The basic rule of thumb is, if it's portable, you can take it apart. You don't need a permit, just like a fence or a gazebo. If you install running water, heat, electricity, and a cement foundation, consider a permit. Anyway, don't take my word for it. Ask your local building code people. As for taxes, the same applies. It is best to check with your local permit office. How much does it cost to maintain a greenhouse? The cost to maintain a greenhouse and supply it with heat, water, and electricity depends on energy costs in your area, what type of greenhouse you build, and how you plan to use it. To maintain your greenhouse in the winter, using a small, portable 1500-watt heater, one can start the season late in October or November and continue to late February or early March. To maintain your greenhouse in the summer, cooling, use whatever you can to shade the greenhouse from the midday sun, and possibly install an exhaust fan or a wall cooler or swamp cooler. Where should the greenhouse be positioned? Unless it's a portable model, it's there to stay. The first consideration is sunlight, at least 6 hours of direct sun per day. Note any trees, fences, or other obstacles. Remember, after June 21st, the sun gets lower on the horizon. Consider drainage. Find a level spot. Consider access to water and electricity. Consider the difficulty in walking to your greenhouse in inclement weather. Structural materials. Greenhouse styles. The style of the greenhouse you select depends on how permanent you want the structure to be, whether it will be freestanding or attached to the house. Attached, also called a lean-to. This type of greenhouse is an extension of the home. There is usually direct access to the house, and water and electricity are easily extended to the structure. These are replicas of a lean-to. A small structure like this can house a lot of plants, and it's easily put together with just PVC and plastic. An A-frame, simple to construct, an A-frame can be built in sections on the ground, then raised into place and covered. Although shape is ideal for heavy snow loads, it provides limited headroom and is difficult to ventilate. Gothic arch. The Gothic roof line is extremely decorative. This style is a good choice for regions with lots of rain and snow. Span roof. This freestanding style is the most typical. and usable style for any greenhouse. The interior layout is extremely practical with easy access. Hoop houses. A hoop house can be very reliable. It keeps off excessive rain, blocks the wind, and raises temperatures. Plastic film. A greenhouse covered with film plastic is 1/6 to 1/10 the cost of a glass structure. May resist yellowing, lasting 3 to 5 years, available in many thicknesses. The thicker the film, the more expensive. If you use this, use one that has UV protection. Another way to reduce heat loss is to double layer the plastic, creating an air pocket for installation. Coverings. One of the most important decisions is the choice of material to cover your greenhouse. You will want a material that will let you maximize the amount of light while allowing the least amount of heat to escape. As well, it must be strong enough to withstand wind, hard rain, and hail. Glass. Glass is the preferred traditional material for performance. It lasts indefinitely, but does become brittle with age. Glass is breakable, therefore more difficult and expensive to install. It requires a much sturdier frame than the plastic coverings. Rigid plastics. Fiberglass, acrylic, polycarbonate, care available in corrugated and flat form. Both can be used on curved structures, shatterproof, and resist hail damage to varying degrees. Light transmitted through fiberglass rich panels is roughly equal to that of glass. Fiberglass covering requires less cooling than glass coverings. Greenhouse frames. Most frames are made from wood, aluminum, galvanized steel, and PVC. Galvanized steel. Most commercial greenhouses are galvanized steel frames because they are long-lasting, low-cost, and require less framework than other framing material. Steel greenhouses are typically covered with polyurethane film. Be sure that any steel tube greenhouse you purchase is made with tubing that is protected from a greenhouse's normal humidity and corrosive atmosphere and is designed to support heavy weight. Steel's greatest value is its strength. Its other big advantage is price. Aluminum, available in a variety of colors and has low maintenance requirements. It has a higher initial cost and is more often used with glass and rigid plastics for glazing in structures. It does not have the strength of steel. Look for engineered shapes that are designed to increase frame strength. Wood. Wood is most commonly used either for sunrooms or in homemade greenhouses. Redwood or cedar are used because of their natural resistance to the elements and attractive look. Wood frames are generally much larger and heavier than equivalent metal frames, which increases the amount of shadow in the greenhouse. Though very attractive, wood has a limited lifetime in a greenhouse damp atmosphere before it starts to deteriorate. PVC pipe. PVC hobby greenhouses have become increasingly popular. The main advantages are their low cost, portability, and ease of installation. PVC is not as strong as metal and wood greenhouse frames. Operating systems. Flooring. The floor of your greenhouse should allow easy drainage. Gravel and brick or concrete stepping stones laid over sand are a great choice. You will want to lay a sheet of woven weed barrier under the floor covering to prevent weed growth. Wood slate can be used, but they tend to get very slippery when wet. Ventilation. Ventilation is the single most important requirement for a greenhouse. Your ventilation system will keep temperatures in the greenhouse at a reasonable level in the summer. Winter ventilation needs are lower. Heating. Heating is necessary if you plan to use your greenhouse throughout the year. If you're using your greenhouse to start seedlings and root cuttings in the spring, supplement heating probably will not be necessary. If you use heat mats, smaller models can be adequately heated with electric heaters. Do not expose to water. Larger size greenhouses consider gas heaters. Best to use a vented heater to release the harmful gases. Cooling. Shade cloth or swamp coolers are excellent for cooling. Shade cloth is used by professional growers to cool during those long, hot summers. It is relatively inexpensive and is good for providing shade for plants that grow well in the full sun. Benches. Benches make a difference in the ease of gardening. And add a lot of work space. Benches make a difference in the ease of gardening and add a lot of workspace. Benches come in a variety of materials, from wood to steel to aluminum to plastic. Overhead misters, mat irrigation, drip tubing, water hoses. All of these are necessary items for your greenhouse and things you should think about when you decide how large a greenhouse and how much expense you're gonna put into it. Misters are wonderful, especially if they're on a timer to keep everything watered. Mats. The mats do the same so that they can irrigate and you don't have to move them or move your plants around as much. When you add drip tubing, you can do a hole punch in the location where you're putting the pot. This makes it relatively easy to move your plants around from shelf to shelf. This is a photo of the greenhouse at the Master Gardener's demo garden. This is how the structure started. It took a team effort to put this greenhouse together. I'm sure they were proud of themselves when they finished. These are reference websites. You can go on to Texas A&M, Greenhouse Nurseries. I suggest you take a photo of this page. I'll give you a moment to get your phone out and take a snapshot of that so that you'll have your reference websites. If not, let me know. I can go back to it. Additional resources for backyard greenhouses, Greenhouse Management Magazine, Texas Nurseryman's Magazine. There are several publications that are readily available to help you make all the decisions you need for deciding what size, what type, what material, and what you need to put in your greenhouse. The Transforming Builder Series, How to Build an Inexpensive Greenhouse. How to build a 12 by 14 hoop greenhouse with electricity for $300. This particular book is available on Amazon. I ordered it. It's a great book. References: Texas A&M. These are all of the entities that help put this together. How to build a PVC hoop house for gardening by Travis Sailing, Clark County Extension, and Carol Myers. These are all references of the people that helped to put this together. Here is contact information for our local office. Our helpline is open from 8:30 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon, Monday through Friday. Please take a snapshot of this page. And if you have any questions, we're always available to help. All right, Dick, do you have any Q&A?
There you go. I see one. What is the best type of greenhouse with this crazy Texas wind and to ensure it doesn't blow away?
Well, I recently had my greenhouse installed. They installed it in October, and I already knew I was going to have to do that to think about the strong winds. What we did with my greenhouse, I actually purchased one, and I am going to do another video with my greenhouse since it's been installed and what I did with the flooring and everything. We went into the framing. My framing is metal. We attached lead wires down to cinder blocks, and there are 3 on each side and 2 on the back side. We have had wind since I got this greenhouse up to about 45 miles per hour, a little more, and it's held in place. So when you get ready for your greenhouse, just remember you're gonna have to tie it down to make sure it doesn't move. When they installed it, they put 24-inch stabilizers in it every 18 inches because I watched them put it together. So my suggestion, just make sure it's anchored on the inside as well as the outside.
Okay, another question. Misty wants to know if you can put the page with the books you had listed on it on back up so she can see them again.
These are really available to. There they are. There's a page. Those are great magazines. A Greenhouse Management magazine, I have seen several copies of that. I haven't been able to actually get a subscription, but these are really good reference points.
Okay. How long does the polycarbonate panels usually last?
It depends upon the thickness. When I was doing my research before I purchased my greenhouse, they give you a 5-year to 8-year, depending upon the thickness and whether or not it has a coating on it that shades it. And it actually just depends upon if it gets a lot of stress, is what the greenhouse builder told me.
Well, Yolanda, may I add something?
Sure.
Okay, so my greenhouse actually has the corrugated polycarbonate, and I had not replaced those panels, and that greenhouse is at least 15 to 16 years old. So, but I have talked to my husband that I think it's time that we should probably replace it. I will say some of the challenges, like with glass, over age, they become a little bit brittle and it does darken a little bit. So I'm ready to replace those panels. My husband, not so much, but I'm ready to replace them. But I think they last a lot longer than, 5 to 8 years. But it depends on what you're growing in there and, how strong you need the light to come in or the items that you're growing.
Great.
Okay. Jenny has a question. How far away do you place your grow lights?
It actually depends upon what you're growing. If you're doing seedings or if you have plants that have already come up. We have several grow lights in the greenhouse at the demo garden, and you don't want to put them too far, but you want the plants to actually get the benefit of the grow light. So I would say anywhere from about 10 to 12 inches or a little more, just whether it's freestanding grow light or whether it clips on. Kind of your rule of thumb, how close you can get it, but just don't make it so close that it actually burns the plant.
Okay. How do you keep the pesky little squirrels from getting in the greenhouse?
Right now, I haven't had an issue with the squirrels actually getting in. I did notice 2 of them the other day that were on the top. They haven't managed to get in, but when I had my greenhouse built, I put gravel on the inside as well as all the way around the outside and paving stones. So they're going to have to dig through that to get in mine.
Sounds like a good plan. What's the best way to keep plants from overheating in the summer?
Actually, the only thing I can use as rule of thumb is the Pat's greenhouse that's at the demo garden. It just gets so warm in there. Most of the plants, if they can't take that heat, we move them out. Since I just got my personal greenhouse in October, I haven't gone through a summer yet, but I do plan to put a pretty good, like a 75 to an 80% shade cloth over it. And then I've got an exhaust fan in there and a misting system. So hopefully will help.
Okay. Charlotte says she wonders about using 6x6 cedar posts on the ground and attaching the metal bottom of the greenhouse to those 6x6s for more added weight so it won't blow away. Does that sound appropriate?
That's probably a good idea. And when I decided on my greenhouse, they went through various options for your site. And the only thing they cautioned me on was if I did that, to make sure it was absolutely level, because if not, the greenhouse itself, when you put the door in and any windows, they're not going to line up. So I think that's a great idea as long as you make sure you level it really, really well. Measure twice.
Okay. What's the general cost of a backyard greenhouse? I know it depends on the type for sure, but
Mine is a polycarbonate and it's 12 by 16. And they actually came and installed on site, and it was roughly 4,000. I know that one of the other master gardeners is getting ready to have one put in within the next month or so. And she's thinking about a much larger size. I think it's going to be like 28 feet long, 12 by 28. So rule of thumb is your size and the material that you plan to use. I've seen people that do used windows, but you still have to frame them in. So it just based on how much time and effort you want to put into the structure itself and the material.
okay. Misty says she sees the magazines, but she thought there were some books that you put up also, and she doesn't see those. So if we can see those, she'd appreciate it.
Uh, yes, it's on there.
Is she talking about these? Yeah, because
That
she
one is one, and then there's another one with hoop houses. It said something about a 12 by 14 hoop house.
Sorry, let me see if I can get to that.
It's green.
Oops, well, that one is green. Now there's one on how to build it for 300 bucks. There it is.
There it is. I love this little book. I have really used it a lot for referencing.
Dick, were those the books she was asking about?
I don't know. If Misty, if that wasn't okay, let us know. And you can unmute Misty if you need to ask a question. Another question. Do we get an educational credit for attending the class?
Nancy? I don't know.
Yes. Yes, they do. 1 hour CEU.
And this lady's a master gardener, so yes, that would be that's what I would think also.
Yeah, 1 hour CEU.
Okay. Can we visit the demo garden? If so, where is it located? Yolanda, you want to see that?
Yes, isn't that 1801
Yeah.
Campus Drive? No,
Yeah. No, Circle Drive.
Circle Drive.
Yeah.
1801 Circle Drive. It's just off of Campus Drive and Joe P. Rushing. If you come into the Resource Connection facility, as soon as you start in, there's a stop sign there. You're going to make a left and just circle around, and the building number is 1801, and the demo garden is there.
Yeah, and you'll see the red barn. The red barn is in the demo garden. So as you're going around the circle, that's a easy thing to see. And it's right off I-20 and Campus Drive. And yes, it is open to the public.
You want to let them know when Master Gardeners are there working if they want to talk to
Yeah.
Master?
All of our volunteers that work at the garden, each one of them are in charge of different areas, like the native plant section, the perennial garden section, succulent section, native grass section. Usually, all those leads of those sites are there on Tuesdays. Tuesdays their work day. So if you went out there that day, there would be somebody there could answer any questions you might have. Okay. Nancy, are we planning any hydroponic gardening?
Well, there has been discussion. You know, we have that hydroponic um,
That presentation, yeah.
well, no, it's actually there's a tool inside the Greenworks greenhouse that there is discussion about getting that up and running. So to answer the question is we're planning on it, not on a large scale, but hopefully within this year we're going to get that up and running.
Nancy, that hydroponics, Bob and I have been working on that. We've got all of the pieces together. Bob has got the water flowing through there. We had to order some more little cups that were going to actually hold the plants. So Nancy, it's absolutely correct. We're working on it.
Sounds like fun.
And so that would be, you want to explain where that will be located, Yolanda?
Yes, if you get to 1801, it's the Greenworks greenhouse that's over to the left-hand side of the property. And it's inside there, but I'm not quite sure when we're going to be finished.
Right. So for them to view that, though, because that greenhouse remains locked. So to view that hydroponics, once it is up and running, they would need to contact probably you or Bob to come and view that, correct?
Yes, absolutely. If they would send me an email or I can, but I would love to be able to put that out and maybe send something when it's up and operational, because I think it's going to be a great system. We're really looking forward to working it, but it's probably going to take us a few more weeks to get it operational.
Okay, sounds good. That'd be a wonderful video, how you do it and how it works and all that.
Great question.
Charlotte wants to know when our next plant sale is. Is it in April or do y'all remember, Nancy?
I thought there was just discussion about the plant sale. So what's going to happen is when right now we're doing caladium sales, and you can go online to the Tarrant tcmga.org website, and you can go up to where it's shop. I think it's shop.org, and you can go in if you want to order caladiums, and because that sale is open to the public, and I think the sale is open now through March 1st, and then once that is over, they're going to probably open up the plant sale. That's going to be online as well. So again, if you don't see anything posted either through TRWD or through TCMGA, go to our website and there should be flyers that come out through there. I don't know if that answered a question, because I don't have the exact dates. I'm sorry.
Okay, and then all that's left is a bunch of thank yous for the wonderful presentation. We have a thank you from Lubbock, wonderful presentation, and awesome news about the hydroponic start.
Now, we're all really excited about that, Yolanda. I'm excited that you and Bob have taken that on. It's going to be great.
We've really been working on that thing for the last couple of weeks, and Bob is a treasure. I mean, you got the water wall working, the timers are working. So I'm working election this week, so I'm kind of out of the loop. I did see him Tuesday, and we talked for 40 minutes about that hydroponic. So we're working on it.
Yeah. he is amazing, that's for sure. But yeah,
Yes.
We've got one more question. With the hoop greenhouse, are misters and lighting included?
are
No,
they
I
talking
would
about the price of this?
I think they're just wanting to know if anything's included when you order that type of house, the hoop
Well,
house.
It honestly just depends upon where you get your hoop house and if that's one of the options. The greenhouse that I purchased came from East Texas Greenhouses, and the misting system is part of that particular package that I purchased. That and an exhaust fan. I added the electricity and the LED light. I'm already working on a new video where from the site preparation to them installing my greenhouse to how the misters works, the lighting system, and the shelving and flooring that I'm putting in. So as soon as I get that finished, I'll get it online so everybody can see it.
that's going to be great.
That sounds great.
You know, I wanted to add some comments. There was a question about trying to keep plants or the system cool in the summer. And I've done that for the last couple of summers. And I was hesitant previously where I would try to take everything out of the greenhouse during the summer. And then for a variety of reasons, I needed to keep some things in there all summer. And the key, I think, is that ventilation. I did add a couple of foggers so I could come in and, because moisture will help lower the temperature. And then if you have an oscillating fan, when the air is moving, that will help to lower the temperature, plus your shade cloth that you had talked about.
Okay. No more questions. We want to thank everybody for coming and